report the news that nobody has the balls to report.
Why am I the only one breaking stories like this? You can call me Uncle Turtle Boy, Clarence, Aidan. I don't care what you call me.
Did you not say that you were going to take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby?
I think they don't like the things that I'm saying and they want me to stop saying them, but I'm not. I'm never going to stop. Now, these are the kind of stories, guys, that must be told.
I'm just a guy who's breaking stories and reporting news from my basement.
Yo, what's up, Turtle Riders? How's everybody doing tonight? Good, excellent. Welcome to the Turtle Boy Live Show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host. They call me Uncle Turtle Boy around these parts. You can call me Clarence, Aidan, whatever you want to call me. Turtle Boy. At Dr. Turtle Boy is my favorite because if Joe Biden's a doctor, I'm definitely a doctor. That's also my Twitter handle, so get at me on there. Get at me on pretty much everything, or on Facebook. We do have a new Facebook page. They took down our page with like 40,000 followers almost, which was useless anyway. And we got a brand new one. It's been doing pretty well. So go like it. It's just called Turtle Boy. So go like it right away if you haven't already. Also, if you're new here, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button. We're getting closer to 25,000 subs on here. We are at, I believe, 23,000.2 right now. So that's pretty cool. So keep on climbing, keep smashing that subscribe button, hit the notification bell because we do this every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. But we also do the occasional impromptu live from my car. You never know when I have like an announcement to make. I might do an impromptu live. So go ahead and do that. Also, you can find us on, we do a little thing called Turtle Club that you can join for just $15 a month. You get ad-free on the website. You also get access to the Thursday night streams that nobody else gets, and you get a free Turtle Boy t-shirt of your choice from the Turtle Boy store. So let us know. You can sign up in the bio below in the description, the link for Turtle Club. It's how you can basically support us while we're doing this so we don't have to be dependent on advertisers and things that are outside of our control because you know how cancel culture works these days. People are always going after, advertisers because they see them as weak. They see them as like the source of the revenue and they try to attack them for that reason. Okay, cool. We're also, guys, I'm posting a link to the Rumble link right there. If you guys want to go ahead and subscribe on Rumble, we had another we had another video taken down. Actually, we did have another video taken down. I forgot which one it was. It was like episode 492 or something, but this happens all the time. Some douchebag files some sort of complaint. Like I got another one in my inbox today. You want to see this shit real quick? Check this out. So I got this, and this is why you should like Rumble, because Rumble is all about free speech. And I'm just so sick of the censorship. And quite frankly, I always said as soon as YouTube had a competitor that had like a good chat and everything, that I would be going over there and doing it over there. Because we've been demonetized on YouTube as well. So please go ahead and subscribe to our Rumble channel because eventually I'd just like to do everything over there. But I'll show you an example of this. Like, for instance, I see this thing. I don't know if you guys can read this, but this is an email that I got, I think, yesterday. Let me bring it up. Nope, I want to zoom in. Hi, Turtle Boy Live. This is to notify you we received a privacy complaint from an individual regarding your content at the 5-minute, 19-second mark. And this is what they say privacy, and then they get things taken down. Like this happens all the time. So I click on it, and guess which video it comes to? Take a wild freaking guess who filed a privacy complaint on it. Spoiler alert, it's somebody who complains about this a lot. It's somebody who complains about this a lot. This is the video that comes up when I click it. North Attleboro mom admits giving kids cigarette, pots, condoms for push.
So I was like, here, kid, like, take my cigarettes. Like, he would,
so
at first he would steal them, I would punish.
This was the video that ultimately they filed a privacy complaint over. I guess they don't want that to be out there. A public stream, something they said on a public stream, they don't want it out there. So don't really care. Don't really care what you don't want out there. So don't say things in public if you don't want them to be made public. That's my philosophy on it. And just don't take shots, like don't take real personal shots. We can get to some of that later. We have like I said, we do this Tuesday and Saturday nights at 9. Tomorrow we do have a special. It's a Wednesday special. We never do Wednesdays. So you're going to want to watch tomorrow night if you like watching trash burn. Tonight we're going to talk about the Brian Walshe story and very interesting murder mystery stuff going on. Not much of a mystery, quite frankly, but just crazy story with murder, like real true crime shit. But if you want to watch garbage burn, tomorrow's the night to do it, because we are going to expose somebody, a monster. We're going to expose a monster who might, quite frankly, might be the next Brian Walshe. So we shall see. Okay. So let's jump right into the content. Oh, by the way, one more announcement real quick. As you know, we're demonetized on YouTube, so you cannot use the super chat function to donate to us. However, we had to go and build our own. So it's called Turtle Chat. If you click at the link at the top of the stream, the mic's working well tonight. Is there a static tonight? Last show we had a lot of static. But if you click on the link at the top of the stream, that's called Turtle Chat. You can donate whatever amount of money you want to that. And when you do, you get to write a message. I will receive an email notification, and then I will bring it up on the big screen. I'll show the class. So it's just kind of like it does the same thing as Super Chat. It allows you to write a message, and everybody sees it. So it's good if you want to give a shout out to somebody, a friend of yours. Maybe it's somebody's birthday. Maybe you just don't like somebody. That's your opportunity to do it on the Turtle Chat. I'm also on Cash App at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. My phone will vibrate and I will get a notification if you do it. Again, Cash App is $ Uncle Turtle Boy, and I will read whatever message that you send to me when you do that. Okay, 7-pounder. What is wrong with you sometimes? Okay. All right, let's jump right into this. First thing up, where'd it go? All right. So, like I said, we covered this story last week. This is actually the biggest story we've written this year. The year is young. 90,000 views and counting. Cool. But unfortunately, it took an incident like this to get it. But like I said, we'll kind of start at the top here. We covered a lot of this on Saturday, but we'll cover some more of it again. So this woman's name is Ana Walshe. She's from Serbia. I don't know when she moved here, but she apparently has a thick accent. She's obviously a good-looking woman. She's a mother of 3, 39 years old, lived in Cohasset. But for the last, I don't know, it seems like 4 years. And there's the lovely young man who by the way, I can't stop thinking about these kids, particularly because first of all, they're so young. And I've watched a couple of the videos that she's posted on Instagram, and it's like they are just the sweetest looking kids. And I think about, they're not the first people where one parent murdered another parent, right? It's happened before. But usually in those cases, every time I've seen it, like there is an army of aunts, uncles, cousins, grandmas lining up to show support, right? To help raise those children and make sure they don't go without, that they don't miss out. But with this situation, it's a little different because the maternal grandmother lives in Serbia, so that's not going to work. The paternal side of the family is completely estranged. So who's going to take care of these 3 kids? And that's a serious question. I hope they get to stay together. I mean, I really do. I hope they have someone. I mean, I'd adopt them if I could. I mean, I already have 2 kids. Just after you have 2, it's like just throw another one on the pile at this point. It's all like it's like 1 is obviously a big thing, and then you get the second. It's like, okay, now it's 2, but after a while, you just get used to it, and you're like, I could just throw another one on the pile at this point. What does it matter? But it's sad. It's very sad. I think about what those poor kids are going through, but they are in DCF custody, but that's temporary. Like, what is the long-term plan for them? That's what I'd like to know. Cause obviously it's not going to be with mommy or daddy. And so it makes you wonder who's going to take them. So there they are living, he's a creepy looking dude. Just look at him. Okay. Living the glamorous Boston magazine lifestyle. They've been on the cover of they've been in the Boston Globe several times in the lifestyle section, living the fine life. And like I said, no media initially reported this. Everyone's obviously reporting it now. And that is that this guy who initially, when the story came out, the police, at least the media was not making you think that this guy had anything to do with it. The police gave the official statement that the husband is cooperating. To me, that means shit, because the police aren't going to tip him off that they consider him a suspect. So of course they're going to, pretend to play. You should just assume that in all instances like this, they immediately assume it's the husband, because it's the husband 99% of the time. But the media didn't think to speculate. And, a quick Google of this guy, it didn't really take much, shows you that he has been arrested, tried, and convicted of selling 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings to an LA art dealer for $80,000. He claimed he got them for $240,000, which makes no sense at all. He also went in. This story was a little bit confusing, but he also screwed over one of his friends. By the way, they sold them on eBay, and they were sold on her account. The account was listed to her. There is no way in hell that Ana Walshe did not know what she was doing, who she was married to, and that she was participating in criminal activity. I don't know how she wasn't charged, quite frankly, when I read the FBI's report with this. I don't know. It was on her account. But again, this guy seemed to be the primary person orchestrating it, but or maybe they just wanted to let one parent stay. I mean, the punishment wasn't even that big. And by the way, here's another crazy turn to this. You guys see who prosecuted him in this case? Road Rage Rollins did. Rachel Rollins was the prosecutor in this, and she wanted 30 months in jail for this. So it wasn't even that big of a sentence. The maximum, that's what the prosecution's asking for. Yikes. Typical, by the way, of Road Rage Rollins. But I digress. The story's not about her for once. So he had to pay the guy back that he screwed over $80,000. He paid 30 of it, and then he never paid 50 more. Why? Because the guy went to the police, and he's like, what? Well, now we don't owe you it anymore because you went to the cops. So he still owes restitution on this. He's still he has not been, the other guy has not received justice until he gets the money back. And, they were living it up with the high life on going to Venice and stuff like that. It was all fake. But he also screwed over his friend, who he was in his wedding in South Korea in 2012. This is like an old friend of his, a victim. And he went there, and I guess he took 2 of the guy's paintings, like Warhol. You guys are obsessed with Warhol. And he was going to sell them to a New York art dealer, but the art dealer wanted proof of ownership, which he didn't have. So you can't, that's a red flag right there. He couldn't even sell them. And the guy, he just stopped taking his buddy's calls. The buddy had several people try to reach out to him in Boston. To do that to a friend of yours, man, that's a scumbag. You're a scumbag. Scumbag. So he pled guilty because he was guilty of sin. And it was unclear what the punishment was. We found a little bit more of that today. On their Instagram, it's all flashy cars, living the high life. I was skeptical of this woman, and I still am. I still think she's extremely shady. It's sad she's dead, but doesn't change if we're being honest in how we're reviewing this. She's very shady, this woman. You knew who you were married to. You knew this guy was up to no good. And the whole thing about how did she get this job? This high, somehow she possesses these skills to work for she was that wanted to get a job in Washington. She was headhunted to work in Washington, D.C. This real estate firm was big, man. This is a hard to get a job at kind of firm. But she took the job knowing that she would have to buy a house there, which she did. And by the way, they sold their house in Cohasset on Jerusalem Road, and they rented. I've never heard of this before. They rent on a street full of millionaires. God knows what the rent is there, but they rent for some reason. And she owns this house in Washington and works there for several years. So for years, during her kids' formative years, she's working 5 days a week there and then flying back on the weekends. That's bizarre to me. That's weird. How a mother is just like okay with seeing your kids on FaceTime, especially during that age when they're so young and fun and you get to spend all this time with them. I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. So, there they are. I've gotten messages from people that I cannot confirm that she had a boyfriend down there because you spend a lot of time at a place like this, like far away from your family. You're around all these fabulous people all the time. You guys are always drinking champagne and getting awards and going to events and getting dressed up and all this stuff. Yeah, eventually you're going to bone someone. Like it's really only a matter of time, especially when your husband is a goober, which is exactly what her husband is. Like that guy is obvious. I'm no homo or anything. But that guy's more attractive than her husband. I could tell right now. Like she would definitely rather bang that guy. Just looking at him. Totally. I'm not saying she is, but to make things shadier, the house on Jerusalem Road burns down while I'm writing this article on Friday. Now, the Cohasset Fire Department says, and the police say nothing suspicious. She sold the house to some Russians. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, that's shady. It's like a little bit xenophobic, my friend, to say something like that. A little bit. Why? Because all Eastern European people are just shady and they know each other and shit? I don't know. But I'll tell you, dude, come on. Come on. I don't think the Cohasset Fire Department's covering anything up here, but come on. The house burnt down the same day? What? So the woman goes, according to him, she got in a ride share at 4:30 in the morning on January 1st because she had to go in. She had a plane ticket to go to Washington on January 3rd to go to work, like she always does. I think it was a Tuesday. But he claims that she got called in early on an emergency, but there was no evidence that she took a ride share, no evidence of her flying out. Nothing comes up. So that's clearly a lie. And later on, we're going to get to the next part in a minute, what we've learned about this since then. Actually, we can just jump into it right now. So we go to part 2 here. So that was the first one I did. Then we learned some more yesterday, really, at his arraignment. So he is arrested over the weekend, but he's not charged with murder. He's charged with lying to police, misleading to police. He's held on $500,000 bail, $5 million bond, which is by far the world record for bail for somebody who has been charged with misleading police. Like that is the kind of bail that a judge gives to someone who he knows is guilty of murder, who he knows in the coming days will likely be charged with murder and does not want to give this man a chance to flee in the meantime, because God knows what this scam artist would come up with. He is not sticking around. He ain't sticking around. So, here's what we learned from the arraignment on yesterday morning. So, despite claiming that Anna left her house at a ride share on New Year's Day at 4:30, Brian Walshe never notified police. So it was initially reported that this guy reported his wife missing on January 4th, which was shady enough to begin with. But now we find out that he's not even the one that reported her missing. It was her employer that reported her missing. And then they called him about it, I believe. And then that's how they found out. So he's like, oh, wow. Like, okay, be shadier, dude. So the whole story he told police, by the way, about getting called in an emergency, that was getting called in early. That was a lie. Her cell phone pinged in the house on January 1st and 2nd. So that was obvious. Like, she's not going to not take her cell phone with her. Something's going on here. He's on house arrest. which was news to me, while awaiting sentencing for a felony conviction in a federal court for the Andy Warhol thing. On January 1st, he drove to his mom's house. He says he drove to his mom's house in Swampscott and got lost. Okay, if there's any potential murderers out there, I don't want to give you too much advice, but I could give you a lot of advice on this case or what not to do. Don't say you got lost on your way to your mom's. Have that be your alibi. Nobody gets lost in 2023. That's not a thing. Everybody's got iPhones now. And it's your mom's house. You know where she lives. It's freaking Swampscott, too. It's not that hard. It's on a peninsula. There's only so many places you can go. But he also claimed that he went to Whole Foods and CVS on January 1st. But, you know, they got no evidence of that, no receipts, nothing on video. That was a lie. So these are all the false statements. And as a result, the police wasted their time looking into them. On January 2nd, he told police that he left the house to get his son ice cream. Now, he was allowed to leave to do stuff for his kids on weekdays, to pick them up at school and stuff like that, whatever that, like drive them to places. But January 2nd, there was no school. He just happened to get away with it because it was a Monday. It was technically a holiday, and I guess the system didn't pick up on that. But he claimed he went to get his son ice cream, but as it turns out, he went to Home Depot in Rockland, and oh yeah, he purchased $450 worth of cleaning supplies. I'll have some thoughts on that in a little bit. Police obtained a search warrant and found blood in the basement. I mean, that to me is the craziest part. They found the bloody knife in the basement. This moron forgot to get rid of the bloody knife. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time till they run tests on those. They find out it's her blood. They find his DNA on the handle. He's completely screwed. Like, this is the most open and shut thing ever. I'm getting a message from someone right now that seems to be in the know. Hold on one second. What does this message say? About who they think this mistress is here. Let's see. Oh, you think? Okay. All right. Anyway, we'll give them more substantial things. All right. Anyway, let's carry on with this. So, police obtained the search warrant and they found all that stuff. His attorney says that he contacted her employer to report her missing, and that they volunteered to be the ones who would report her missing to police because they had former law enforcement under their employ. Sure. Like, imagine that. It's like, so my wife's missing. You guys want to call that in for me? You guys want to? Oh, you guys have a former law enforcement who works for you. Why don't you handle this one? I'll just sit back and chill. Why don't you get on that? So he's $500,000 cash bail, and look at this douchey perp walk. Just watch this. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Look at this motherfucker. First of all, look at that blockhead, dude. That's a big head. Look at this guy. Look at him coming out with his Uggs on there. No, they're not really Uggs, I know. But the smile. I mean, how do you smile like this? Coming, like, what a piece of shit. Like that. This perp walk really tells us everything we need to know about this guy. Yeah, so guilty. I mean, look at this. That picture's like iconic. Like hashtag first degree murder coming soon. But I actually found, I have sources, guys, in the jail. Because remember, I know a lot of lawyers and stuff like that. And he's in a jail cell with people overnight who are arrested in Cohasset for other crimes, whatever. I mean, this happens every night. People are arrested, kept overnight at a police station. So he's kept overnight there. And according to people who he was in cells with, this is third part. This is actually second party I get this from. He was extremely arrogant and cocky. Like he wasn't going down for this at all, which is just wild because we've never seen somebody with this much evidence against them. I can't believe he hasn't been charged yet, quite frankly. I mean, they got, what's his name? Chris Watts. They got him in 2 days. They got most of these murderers within a day or two. This guy, it's like they got more. I've never seen this much evidence before. Now, veteran crime reporter. So, basically my questions now, and I think some of these are starting to get answered, like particularly the first one. What did he do with her body? We found that out in the next blog. He chopped it up and he put it in a dump in Peabody. That seems to be what happened there. Is there blood in his car? Because again, he would have had to have transported the body. It sounds like he killed her in the basement, or I would maybe not. I don't know. Oh, where were the kids for this? Whatever. He still would have to get and where is so he left the kids home alone? That would be even crazier. I don't even I have so many questions. More and more is going to come out on this. So he had to put her in the car, and there's going to be blood all over his car, everywhere. There will also be blood from however he dragged her. Dude, she's 115 pounds. She's not big by any means, but that's not that light. To drag her, suppose he killed her in the basement, to drag her up a flight of stairs. There's going to be blood everywhere, all over. You cannot scrub a murder scene, especially with a knife, because a knife is going to have the most blood. Not I guess a gun, there would be a lot of splatter, but with a knife, it's that's a personal crime. That's that is, you have to stab them a bunch of times, and blood is going to go everywhere. You're going to be covered in it. Your hands are going to be covered in it. Everything's going to be covered in it. You're not going to be able to get every little particle of blood off you. You're not, there's going to be, you could scrub that place top to bottom. You're going to miss a spot. There's going to be some type of particle there that you can't even see, that they're going to find when they come down there with their special equipment that you don't have, and they're going to find it. So it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be all over the basement. It's going to be all over the stairs, and it's going to be all over his car. His hands are going to be touching the steering. The blood will be on the steering wheel. There's no way he could not have gotten blood on the steering wheel. That's what I want to see. There's just got to be a mountain of evidence with this one, a mountain of it. And they're not even wasting their time looking into everyone else. So they have the advantage of that. And what was his motive for doing this? So when I posed this question yesterday, I feel like, what did he do with their body and what was his motive? I think both of those are answered by now. We're going to get into those in a moment. But veteran crime reporter, somehow, Kirk Minahan, obtains exclusive audio here of Brian Walshe calling somebody who apparently he shouldn't have trusted, but did, to talk about this. This is on, I believe, January 4th, when she was finally reported missing. Let's listen to this.
Good afternoon, Brian Walshe. I hope all is going well. I was just reaching out to basically everybody I could. Ana hasn't been in touch for a few days. I was supposed to work today. She hasn't been in. We went to the house and she wasn't there, or looked like she's been there recently. So just wondering if you've spoken to her in the near, recently, like Sunday or in the last 2 days. If so, let me know, or if you know anyone that might have had contact with her, just calling everyone. So sorry to bother you. Sure, everything's fine, and you can wish you thanks.
I'm sure everything's fine. How did I miss that part at the end? Who would say that if their wife was missing for 3 days? Oh, I'm sure everything's fine. sorry to bother you about my missing wife. What? Said he hadn't been in touch in a few days, and he called her work to see if she was there, and they hadn't seen her. Yeah, he said if someone from her work went to her DC house, she wasn't there. So yeah, that's crazy. So before we go into the next part here, just got a couple donos to bring up. Give me 1 second to read a couple donos here that we received in the Turtle Chat. We got one here from Lauren De Laguna, says the following on her Turtle Chat. She says, using my Turtle Chat as an advertisement, Lauren De Laguna is now on Rumble. We're hoping to interview some QAnon people and climax skeptics. The climax. I believe in the climax skeptics and election fairness questioners. These are people who can't talk on YouTube. To go live on Rumble, you need 25 subs. And tonight I'm at 8. Well, let's get her up there. She's got a couple thousand on YouTube, but hello, Lauren D. Laguna. Help Lauren D. Laguna get to 25 subs on Rumble tonight. Go give her, Lauren, you can put your link in the chat. Go ahead and go give her a like, or go give her a sub. Okay. Next up, we got KV sends $10 and he says, some money on your books to get some canteen after Kate's Grundle bundle. Oh, the KGB. That is, oh, I love that one. That I'm using that from now on, the Grundle bundle. The Kate's Grundle bundle, because I'm going to jail. The Discord task force, DTF, bust down your door. Bits and pieces. You probably got a couch facing the bed. You cuck. Okay, so thank you guys. Again, if anyone else would like to donate, you can click at that link at the top. It says Turtle Chat. Any amount of money you want to donate will be graciously appreciated. Goes to our investigative journalism here, as we hope to continue the new year. And it's been a good year so far. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is the week we've had. This week is the biggest week we've had in views. Really, in the last 2 weeks, the biggest period we have in views in well over a year. It's been the story. Turtle Boy's back, man. It's going to be a really big year for Turtle Boy. I can already feel it. So thank you guys for reading our content, for liking it, for sharing it. Glad to have it out there. If you want to financially support what we do, again, you can click on that link at the top. That will bring you to something called Turtle Chat. You can donate whatever amount of money you want, and you get to write a message. I'll bring it up on the big screen like I just did there. And yeah, you can also donate on Cash App at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. So you can do it that way. Murder pace. But it wasn't just the murder story. You know, like the Kendra Lara story got a bunch of views. The sex, well, I guess city councilors and sex. There was a couple others there, like that hockey story, the hockey coach there. That guy is being investigated, the cop from Connecticut there. So, but anyway, let's go back to this. So this is the third story I did. I've only written about this guy this week. So talk about stupid criminals. I could not believe this. So this dumb ass motherfucker Googles how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body and then how to dismember a body. Like, dude, bruh, do you even murder? What is wrong with you? How do you? I've never killed anyone before. And I know that's like the one thing you don't do is Google that ever. Like maybe he's got it. Maybe it's a different 115-pound woman that he has. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe he's just interested in that. I don't know, but I don't think that helps. Now, the tip that my source was like initially hesitant. They were in the courtroom that day. This is my source. And they said that this was not announced by the prosecutor, that whole 115-pound thing. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, how do you not? Why? Like, why do courts treat us like children? To me, that's the most salacious part about this. That's of all the evidence that we've seen so far, the bloody knife, the lying about being at everything, the $450 worth of cleaning supplies, all this shit. To me, Googling how to dismember a 115-pound body is by far the worst mistake he made of all, like the dumbest. Now, I'm just wondering, like, why do they tease us with, like, why would you not tell the public about this? Because to me, if they had put that out initially, there were people over the weekend saying this guy might not, like, take it easy on this guy. No, this guy did it from the beginning. So, but what's not being reported is a little tip I got. And maybe this is why. Maybe he thought he was smarter than he was, but he's really not. Maybe he knows that they do look at your Google search history, but he thought ahead of that. He's like, I'll just go on my kid's iPad and did it. And that's where he did it. This sick motherfucker used his kid's iPad to Google that. Like, that's their mom, dude. And you took their iPad and was like, how do I dismember my kid's mom? Well, first of all, just throw in Goodfellas, dude. I've, again, never dismembered a body. But I feel like I would start with the appendages. Just saying. Just saying. It seems like kind of common sense. But Jesus Christ. Oh, using your son's iPad to do that. So, January 2nd was the day he went and got all the cleaning supplies. It's probably the day that he dismembered it, which means her body sat there for over 24 hours. And ask any first responder, man, it starts to stink. Real quick, I've never smelt a dead body. I don't know if any of you had. People say it's the worst smell. I've never smelt a dead body, but they say it's the worst. But he also searched for how to get rid of clothes used during a murder. It's just wild that I just can't believe it. So hours ago, as I was writing this last night, investigators were searching in, I believe, Peabody in a trash station because he was in that area, I guess, when he was getting lost. He's getting lost. And Peabody's not that far from Swampscott. But in my opinion, the search history was important because it proves a big thing here, and that it's not a premeditated murder. There is no way this is a premeditated murder. I can think of a lot of reasons I don't think this was a premeditated murder. Number one, you would already have the cleaning supplies because you know that, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be easy, right? Number two, pro tip, if you're going to murder somebody and you need to go and get rid of the body, don't do it while you're on house arrest. That's a big thing. Like, that should have kept him from murdering, the fact that you're on house arrest. And then you're Googling how to get rid of it afterwards. To me, this all eliminate, not that it matters, although it does kind of matter when you think of, like, to me, premeditated murder is worse than murder that is like impulsive. I mean, you're still a piece of shit. You should go to jail the rest of your life either way. But to me, somebody who plots a murder ahead of time is way sicker than a person who, kills in the heat of the moment, if you will. They're both sick, but it's much more cold-blooded, in my opinion, to plan to do this ahead of time. And I guess that's one thing he's got going for him. He was just a dumbass who did it impulsively. And why did he do this, though? Why do this? Because, I just can't. Look at this motherfucker. Look at him. Look at that dumbass. So, again, this is a stupid guy. If you go back to his Andy Warhol stunt with his friend, what was his plan there? When his friend gave him 2 Andy Warhol paintings to sell, he just ghosted him. He just stopped answering his phone. He's like, well, maybe he'll just forget about the paintings. Maybe people would just forget about my wife. What a dumbass. And to me, the biggest part of the puzzle was put together today. Did you guys read today's blog? I worked on it all day. So it was the only blog I did today because it was a lot of information in here. I had to read it. I did a lot of reading with this one. So, like I said, he was convicted of this serious crime with the Warhol paintings the first time in April of 2021. Rachel Rollins showed him leniency by, although she's not the one that sentenced him, by not being more aggressive in her sentencing recommendations, in my opinion, with this guy. And Judge Woodcock sentenced him to time served, probation, and a short term of house arrest so that he could be with his family. And, of course, that was better for the family because she works in Washington, D.C., and he's effectively become a full-time nanny. That's his job. This changed in May of 22, though. Because, again, this dumb motherfucker, just the dumbest criminal ever. You got a gift All you got to do is sit your ass at home and take care of the kids. Do not hide any assets, though. Like, if you have any money, you owe it to the victims. You owe restitution. But not this motherfucker. He conspires to hide more money. In a 17-page document with the court explaining, it was revealed that he was giving money to her. $91,000 he gave to her. Now, he claims this was all a big misunderstanding. And this is what I mean by she was definitely, like, she's not innocent in any of this. She didn't deserve to get killed, but she wasn't innocent. So it said he should have disclosed a transfer of $91,000 to his wife. And Mr. Walshe, so that's hiding the money. He acknowledged that he transferred the money after his arrest for the sake of completeness, and he should have explained the nature of the transfers and the genesis of the funds. Now, his excuse was that, mommy gave it to him. Mommy gave him $125,000. Diana Walshe, I think her name is. They're divorced. And that he then so he's given mommy's money to the wife he went on to murder. But why couldn't she just give him the money? How does that make any sense? And who cares? To me, it's just, well, you're still hiding it. Like, you received a gift from your mother, and then that money should have gone to restitution. What? Okay. So, there's that, but all the money comes from someone else. Like, money all comes from someone else. That's like saying, well, I got the money from my employer. Well, yeah, everybody, all the money you have comes from someone else. So what's the difference? You had the money and then you gave it to your wife and you didn't report it to the feds and you're on house arrest. You avoided a prison sentence over this and then you violated. So he also claimed that he was a major part of this. Shit was wild, dude. We are talking about a guy who certainly built himself up to be quite the hero here. He claimed that he was a major part of saving his mother-in-law's life in December 2021 when she was hospitalized with a brain aneurysm. This is a little confusing because this woman is from Belgrade, Serbia. Apparently, she just came here to use our healthcare system because the Serbian one isn't sufficient. But so she came here to get brain aneurysm support. But Mr. Walshe, according to this court document here, has continued to provide support to his family and his community during his period of home confinement. He is the primary caretaker for his 3 sons, who have continued to flourish under his care, as well as his mother and mother-in-law. In December of last year, his mother-in-law suffered a brain aneurysm, which required surgery and hospitalization for over a month. The court modified Brian's conditions of release. To me, if I'm this woman, that's when I say, I'm quitting my job and I'm moving back home to be with my mother, who just had a brain aneurysm, is in the hospital, and oh yeah, my 3 sons are here too. I'm not a fan of her, but she didn't deserve to die. But anyway, in December of last year, his mother-in-law suffered a brain aneurysm, which required surgery, blah, blah, blah. The court modified the conditions of his release to allow him to visit his mother-in-law in the hospital to assist in her care and recovery. I don't believe that. Considering this guy's past, do any of you guys believe that this guy, like, I feel like this guy would use any excuse, make up any bullshit lie to get the court to ease the restrictions on him a little bit. The mother-in-law needs him. You're in a hospital. You have nurses. You have all these people to help you out. And you need this goober. You can't survive without him coming and bringing you warm apple pie or whatever the hell he's bringing. What is he bringing? I don't believe that. I feel like this guy's just making up lies to the court in order to get more privileges, instead of just being thankful that he got away with it and gets to spend his imprisonment essentially with his own children. A lot of people don't have that privilege. But he fooled him. When she was released from the hospital, she returned to Brian and Anna's home for some reason, where he continued to care for her as she recovered. Like, what does that mean? you're not a nurse, dude. Like, how does he caring for her? Thankfully, she was able to almost fully recover from her condition, which she attributes in large part to Brian's care. Now, check this letter out, guys. This letter, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this smells fishy, dude. Fishy, fishy, fishy. So this is the mother. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. A letter that she wrote to Judge Woodcock after he was found to have hid money and Rollins wanted to put him in jail for 30 months, real jail. All of a sudden he gets character reference letters from his mother-in-law. And the mother-in-law says this. Dear Judge Woodcock, or Woodlock, sorry. Oops. Woodlock. Something's on my mind. My name is Malanka. I am Anna's mother and Brian's mother-in-law. I live in Belgrade, Serbia. I am writing to thank you for giving my son-in-law, Brian, mercy since last October. On December 21st, 2021, Brian found me experiencing what he thought was a stroke. He immediately got my daughter and called emergency services. I can safely say that without his presence, I would not have survived. What? He further continued to take care of me during my recovery at the house. He was making my diabetic meals daily. He was taking me to the doctor's appointments. Now, almost 6 months later, I am making a full recovery in my country house in Serbia, and I look forward to seeing Brian, Anna, and my grandchildren again upon my return in November. Brian is a kind and loving man who always puts me at ease. He is there for me even when he is having a tough day. Okay. I'm going to say it right now. I don't believe for a fucking second this woman wrote this letter. Let's take a vote in the comments right now. Vote 1 if you think she wrote this. Vote 2 if you think he wrote it. Go. Who do you think wrote this letter? It's not notarized, by the way. Quick poll. Oh, we got one person says 1. Mr. Cheesecake believes him. Your pick for jury duty, sir. You're in. Seeing a lot of 2s. Like, this reminds me of that email that DCF wrote to Krusty Panties. Remember that one? Wait, they just added too much shit where it's like, okay, dude, relax. Like the lines those are the lines that got me. Like all of this shit, I don't believe any of this. But this is the over the top paragraph. Brian is a kind and loving man who always puts me at ease. You live in Serbia. How often do you see him? He is there for me, even when he is having a tough day. Oh, goodness gracious. First of all, this woman writes extremely well in English for a villager in Belgrade, Serbia, might I add, who's lived under communist rule and survived a civil war. She writes excellent English. Excellent. Anytime I thank Brian for saving my life, he is quick to give credit to all of those who were part of my recovery, the doctors, my daughters, and you, Judge Woodlock. He made it clear that he was able to help me because of your mercy, and that he was able to take me to doctor's appointments because you allowed it. So you, by not sentencing this guy to jail, you did the right thing, Judge. You did the right thing, Judge Woodlock. Please do it again. First of all, who has this kind of relationship with their mother-in-law? Knowing this guy's history and her past, like what family would like love their son-in-law still after this much? Like you have to love your own kid. I get that. But your in-laws, you can kind of be like, fuck that guy, get a divorce. Time to move, like you guys, fuck, he's a loser. I guarantee they think this guy's a loser. I guarantee his own family hates him. How the hell does his in-laws like him? That makes no sense. Like seriously. If your own family hates you, then how do your in-laws like you? Answer me that. But he's like he's very, according to her, he's all noble and he's not looking for the praise. The first responders who came to the house all knew Brian. They knew him from his visits to the Cohasset fire station during the annual 9/11 service acknowledgement campaign. This made me proud of my son. Is that true? Has that been verified by anyone that he goes to the That's what I need to look up next. If this guy ever went to the Cohasset Fire Department on 9/11, every year. They know him so well because he goes there every year. Okay, Brian. I wish to thank you for my life and for a chance that you gave my grandchildren to get to know me, as they had already lost both of their grandfathers. Thank you for giving Brian a chance to live a life worth living. Okay. Letters not notarized, etc. Now, another one here from his sister, Alexandra, in Canada, and his wife also submitted letters. Hi, my name is Alexandra. Brian Walshe is my brother-in-law. I've known him for almost a decade. This letter is to confirm that Brian Walshe continues to consistently support his community and family. I would like to provide one of many examples. And they talk about the mother thing. I got to witness him caring for our mother, his mother, their 3 sons, and actively supporting my sister in her work duties. He continues to be an upstanding member of the community by supporting many humanitarian organizations. He's very engaged with his family. I was always fond of Brian. He has grown so much as a person. He credits his change to his leadership, school, and says that without his arrest and my sister's support, he wouldn't have had the courage or strength to make a change in his life, because change can be very painful. He's focused on being positive. Okay. So that, I find hard to believe that she would write that. She lives in Canada too. So I just find that hard to believe. Now, his wife, Anna, also writes an email as follows. Now, she kind of writes the same thing. Now, this is interesting. During my mother's illness and beyond, Brian continued to be in contribution and focus on charity work, serve as a coach within his Transformational Leadership Academy. Is there anything this guy can't do? Continue to take care of his ailing elderly mother and be there for his sons day in and day out, even though he doesn't know where she lives. Brian has included our family and especially our sons in many of our charitable activities he has been partaking, whether it was walking for World Peace Day in Dorchester. They walked for World Peace in Dorchester. What? Nothing about Dorchester says world peace, but I digress. Or stopping by the Pine Street Inn in Boston to drop off food and sanitary supplies. Not cleaning supplies, sanitary supplies. He's been teaching our young boys from early age how important it is to share the joy and be in contribution with time and resources. Okay. So that one she might have written. I do believe that she might have written that. She might have written the 2 other ones too. Because again, she has an interest in keeping him out of jail because she needs a babysitter. She needs a nanny. So that would not surprise me. But what I think happens, and this is just all theory, I think that with the new revelations, Rachel Rollins is pushing for jail. And if he goes to jail for 30 months, she's got no one to babysit the kids. She's not going to quit her job. She's girl boss down there and sell that house. So of course, if you were her, wouldn't the natural move be they're not even in, the oldest might be in school already, but you move a kid in kindergarten. It's not the biggest deal. Wouldn't the natural move be to move them to Washington, D.C.? Right? Wouldn't that be the most rational decision? Now, if you were him, you're going to jail. Your whole family's moved. They're not going to visit you. Wouldn't you be pissed? She might have just had enough. Maybe they had an argument. I have no evidence that she's banging someone else, but I have common sense. I'm not stupid. I see what she looks like. I see what he looks like. I can tell that she's way out of his league. And looks aren't everything, But who's got like, what about personality? He's got no personality. Blows. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. He's going to jail. He's got no money. Like, there's literally nothing attractive about this guy whatsoever. Why wouldn't she cheat? At all power in the world, if she did, quite frankly, you shouldn't be like, people like this don't deserve fidelity. Like, I'm sorry, they don't. This guy deserved to be cheated on. It's not, I don't consider it cheating, quite frankly. He's like, he brings nothing to the table. He's useless. Anyway, I find this interesting because let's suppose for a second they did write it, which I don't believe. If that's true, then they inadvertently, they kept him out of jail. Had he been in jail and not in house arrest, he couldn't kill. Definitely couldn't kill in the house. So if they actually did write those letters, if Ana Walshe did write that letter, she helped him stay out of jail, which got her killed, which is crazy to think about. But I don't think that they wrote those. Your relation, it's true though. I mean, it's true. So Turtle Boy this guy deserved extra minute. Of course he did. Why should his wife stay? Tell me why his wife should stay faithful. Oh, they got married, right? Well, he's a scumbag. Like, he didn't keep his end of the bargain. You were supposed to like he lied to her the whole time. He's a useless slug. And what, she's just not supposed to get her swerve on? Please stop it. Stop it. I hope she did. But anyway, sorry about that. Nurse Brian needs to stay out of jail because he isn't just essential for his mother-in-law. She moved in after getting, so his mom also moved in for some reason, who also lives in Swampscott. I don't believe anything this guy says. The Mother's Day walk for peace, all this shit. He's a real hero. So Ana Walshe was not innocent either, and she knew exactly what her husband was doing. She directly benefited off his crimes, according to FBI filings, and hid money after the fact. It says right there, defendant's wife benefited from the fraud here. This is an FBI report. There he is. And she goes by Anna Nip in this report. I think that's a maiden name abbreviation. Victim one was also filed. So this kind of outlines his whole involvement in it and his history with the victims. Like I said, this talks about how he was the victim number 2, the guy he stole his paintings and ghosted him. They went to Carnegie Mellon together because this guy did come from money. His dad was a legitimate art dealer. His dad made a lot of money selling art. He's basically pretending to be everything his dad actually was, except he's a piece of shit. So, he kept going to visit this guy in South Korea and stayed there for a long time, was in his wedding, blah, 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 blah. I'm aware that Anna Nip is the wife of Walshe. I've seen a copy of the marriage certificate and blah, blah, blah. Nip participated in the sale of the paintings as discussed above. Nip and Walshe may have handled the fake paintings given to victim 1 or the real paintings. Like I said, her name was registered to the account, to the eBay account. A search of the property revealed several records of residence. One of these records on April 15th, 2016, Nip, that's Anna, purchased the property from an unrelated individual. She had owned the property since. I'm also aware that most married people live together. On February 9th, 2008, I traveled to Lynn, Massachusetts. There is a call box located on the exterior of the building there. When I entered the number for this person, redacted, the name Walshe was displayed on the screen. Blank is located on the second floor of the building. It is a corner unit facing both Essex and Washington streets. I personally observed Walshe entering this unit. A request was made to eBay for the records relating to the seller. The seller turned out to be Anna. So basically, this is where the stuff was being shipped to. It was this place in Lynn. They also have a house in Lynn somehow. That was a little confusing. In response to Walsh's filings, where he made excuses for hiding the money, Rachel Rollins called for a 30-month prison sentence. She detailed the recent charge against Walsh that he just picked up by looting his. Now, this is the craziest part. There's shit with his dad, Thomas Walshe, who seems like a very respected individual, a cultured gentleman, a well-to-do man. And the government, and I think the whole family seems upper class. And I think Brian is like the failure of the family. That's the indication I'm getting here. The government submits this blah, 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 this memorandum, basically to try to put this guy in jail for 30 months and blah, blah, blah. Obstruction. The PSR did not include the government's allegations of the offense, blah, 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 blah. The defendant misled probation regarding the amount of his mother's largesse. In the defendant's financial forms, he listed under the category of gifts from family. In fact, from the date of his arrest through December 2021, the defendant received $512,289, $500,000 from mommy. From June 2021 through December 2021, he received 136 directly from mommy. So, yeah. The defendant failed to provide information regarding his wife's assets. They also hid a 2015 Maserati, which was not registered, and a 2014 Fiat, rather. Several pieces of real estate. That house in Lynn. I don't think there's a shady people hiding all sorts of assets. Like, dude, you got away with it, and they just continue. Just pay the 50 grand you owed. You didn't even owe that much money. Just pay the 50 grand. You obviously have it. So the government was not aware of a life insurance policy of which the defendant was beneficiary. If so, and the government has no reason to doubt it, it explains the $40,000 listed on this. So he admitted that he got 40 grand from a life insurance policy for his dad. However, an insurance policy is just the tip of the iceberg. It does not begin to explain what has transpired with respect to his father's estate, all of which we did under the supervision of the court. The defendant is correct that there is presently no judgment against the defendant with regard to his dad's estate. That matter is not yet settled, in part because the defendant has not rendered any inventory or accounting of what he did with the assets of the estate while they were under his control. And it appears that the defendant did receive money and assets from the estate to which he was not entitled. Remember, this guy finds out that he's not in his dad's will, and his dad has some mic drop line about like, good luck with everything. Sorry, son. And he freaks out and literally raids the estate, takes all sorts of paintings, valuables, and a car, all sorts of shit. And what does he do with them? He sells them all. This is what this guy did. When he got checks, he cashed them. When he got shit, he sold it because he needs the cash. This guy needs cash. And the father, Thomas Walshe, died on September 21st, 2018 in India. He married a Muslim woman there. This guy had a weird lifestyle. I don't know about this guy. In the apparent absence of a will, the defendant got himself appointed personal representative. He took over $100,000 out of his dead dad's bank account, along with paintings and a car from his home. He never reported any of these. This is after he has been convicted. These are assets you're acquiring that he just did not tell the government about. What a dumbass. What a freak. That's what I mean. Dumbest criminal ever. So as part of the government's filings, they included an affidavit from Andrew Walshe, his cousin, who was close with Brian's father. Thomas Walshe was so close and fond of his nephew that he asked Andrew to be the executor of his estate. He also alleged that the reason Brian was kept out of the will was because he stole over $1 million from his father and then disappeared completely. He took a check. It was a check for over $1 million and he just cashed it. And then he did what he did with the guy in South Korea. He just stopped returning his phone calls. He estranged himself from his dad. This is not like, I understand family shit is complicated. There's two sides to a story. This one seems simple. He stole his money, and then he stopped answering his phone calls. It seems like the dad was willing to forgive him, but he just wouldn't talk to him. At this juncture, I understood, as was also common knowledge, that his son, Brian Walshe, had absconded with almost $1 million in prior years. The theft from his only son was tragic, not only in that it occurred, but also that Brian Walshe essentially disappeared from his father's life purposely. So not you took my money and like your dad loves you and you just took yourself out of his life because you're a piece of shit who literally only thinks about yourself. That's why I think this guy doesn't think about anyone but himself. Anyone. The most selfish prick ever. And yeah, I'm sure this guy's down at Cohasset Fire Department donating for first responders. Sure thing. Marching through Dorchester for world peace or some shit. Thomas Walshe was generous, man, to friends and family during my lifetime. Brian Walshe estranged himself from all Walshe family members due to their knowledge of the theft. So had any members of the Walshe family been informed, questions would have been raised much earlier regarding the estate. After Tom died and Brian found out that he was kept out of the will, he tried a number of tricks to make sure he could get the inheritance. He said he was close with his father because I read all the probate court docs. And this guy writes affidavits. He's like, oh, me and my father, we were so close. It's like, what? Now, the whole family knows this guy's full of shit. He robbed them when he was alive. Now he's trying to rob him when he's dead. But Tom's friends knew all about it. And they submitted affidavits to make sure this didn't happen. They didn't get all the money from his estate. His friend Jeffrey Ornstein stated that Brian had been a long-term patient at Austin Riggs Center Psychiatric Hospital and was diagnosed as a sociopath. What? Ornstein broke the news about Tom's death to his ex-wife, Diana, Brian's mother, and Brian. He said that although Diana sobbed uncontrollably, Brian showed no emotion or sense of loss and couldn't have been more businesslike. I mean, these guys, like they're not going to get a dime from this guy's estate. They're doing this out of love for their friend because they know they've had conversations with him. They know what a piece of shit his son Brian is. And now they're just mind blown that this maggot is taking advantage of his death to try to continue to rob him. Brian also has a sister he's estranged from that the majority of the money was supposed to go to. And even his ex-wife, who he did not talk to, cried because she's a normal human being. Not this motherfucker, though. He has no feelings. That's what I mean by a sociopath. This guy feels nothing. The normal emotions that most of us have, love, sadness, right? Like when somebody dies, like it's hard, right? If you were estranged from your family, I've never been estranged, I hope never to be, from family, and you don't see them for a prolonged period of time, and then you die, I would cry. I would think I would cry because like the first thing I would think, it's tragic because it's a reality that like you're never going to get that chance to fix the relationship, right? I'm sure there was always that hope that maybe one day we can reconcile, and then they die and it's gone, right? This guy doesn't have that emotion because remember, the estrangement was his call. He stole his money and then stopped answering his calls. And that's why I don't believe. I'm like, the wife had to know what a piece of shit this guy is. It's your husband. You know everything about him. Like, I wouldn't marry someone who did that to their father. Like, so is your dad coming to the wedding? Nope. Why not? Oh, I stole like $1 million. And then I ghosted that motherfucker. Yeah, I definitely want to bring children into the world with you, of all people. That's what I'm saying. She's shady herself, but the fact that he's been in a psychiatric hospital and is diagnosed as a sociopath is wild. This is before he murdered anyone. Dr. Fred Pescatore stated in an affidavit that Tom wanted nothing to do with his son or his grandkids. That's kind of sad, which is why he kept them out of the will. He said that Dr. Martin Samuels, a work friend of Tom Walshe, described him as an evil person capable of just about anything. Tom was very clear that he did not want his son Brian to inherit anything. I cannot imagine that Brian had enough money to buy a house, as he had to use his mother's funds to pay his legal fees for his federal case. Okay. But I mean, that's great. Brian is an evil person capable of just about anything. And then his wife ends up missing. I mean, you couldn't have it. That's the worst thing that you could write about something. It gets crazier. It gets crazier. The affidavit from Pescatore said that what Brian had done to his father by stealing around $1 million was similar to what he did by conning people with fake Andy Warhol art, which it was. It's very similar. He said Brian was a sociopath who kept getting kicked out of schools as a kid. So this kid was a piece of shit since he was a kid and participated in alternative lifestyles. Although I think I might have worded that wrong. Okay. So Tom was the one participating in alternative lifestyles. They don't say what that is. Their estrangement had nothing to do with Tom's alternative lifestyle. I need to edit that. But rather Brian being a sociopath who can never stay in one school. Okay. So I guess Brian, so Brian, when he tried to get the money, he's like, yeah, I haven't talked to my dad because he was into alternative lifestyles. I don't know if he's hinting that he's gay or something there or what. But basically this guy saying, no, Tom was not into alternative lifestyles. It's made up by this sociopath. And now this is the craziest part. I even went on a trip to China with Brian and Tom and my partner at the time. I witnessed firsthand what Brian was capable of. I saw Brian attempt to smuggle out antiquities from China. I have questions. So antiquities are like ancient artifacts, which I'm sure there are many in China. It doesn't surprise me that this sneaky motherfucker tried to smuggle them out of there, which I don't know why the Red Chinese just let him do that, but he did. And he didn't end up in a prison somehow. But it gets crazy. When Brian was confronted, he picked up a stanchion and literally attempted to kill 4 or 5 guards that had come to talk to him about his crime. Why does it stop there? They don't say how it ends. I want to hear more about how he tried to kill 4 or 5 Chinese guards after trying to smuggle Chinese artifacts out of the country. Was this at the airport? How is he not in a Chinese prison camp? What? I have so many questions about that. But the fact that this guy's writing in an affidavit, a respected doctor, leads me to believe it happened. Brian is not only a sociopath, but also a very angry and physically violent person. I want nothing to do with him, but will stand up for my friend Tom's rights and will not let his memory be the pack of lies from Brian. Dude. I mean, what a freaking 72 hours it has been with this story. This guy is the biggest piece of shit ever. He will feel nothing from being imprisoned. He won't miss his children at all. He probably doesn't even love them. Those kids were just a get out of free jail card for him that he could use as an excuse to get house arrest. That's all those kids were to him. That's all his mother was to him. That's all his mother-in-law was to him. I don't think for a second that his mother-in-law wrote that letter. I think he wrote it, or maybe his wife wrote it. The ultimate irony here is like if his wife enabled all this and ended up getting killed by him, that would be the ultimate irony. Eventually she decided she was going to leave him. I think that's what happened. That's my hypothesis. I have no way to back any of that up, but I think that, we all remember he was wearing a monitoring bracelet too. Yeah. Somehow none of this was brought up on Friday when this came out. Crazy. But anyway, so that's crazy. We got a couple donos here I want to bring up real quick. So thank you to the people who donated. Let me pull them up. Got one here from Llama. Is that what this is? Llama? Hold on. It's from Llama. It says, any truth to the rumor that you are going to adopt Krusty's kids and turn it transgender? You know, those are the kind of things I would joke around with Gianetti, but these idiots would probably like clip that and be like, oh my God, call the police. Call the police. They spent all day yesterday calling the Holden police on me. I swear to God, we can get to that in a couple minutes. But so there's Llama. Then Joel. Hey, Joel, how you doing? Sends 25 and says, keep up the work. Great work, my friend. Thank you, Joel. Missed you at court today. But I'm sorry about your loss. And thank you very much for the dono. Alex sends $15 for you to give me a quick Tom Mountain style shout out. Hello, Alex. I hope things over there are going well for you. I know you're being stimulated right now. Have you ever been to an orgy before, Alex? I will take you to the finest orgies all over the Bay States. Yes, come here. Just don't tell Auntie. Do not tell Auntie. She cannot know about our orgies. But I have vast experience. Me and, or rather, should I say, Mr. Bolsonaro and I, the former president of Brazil, oh, we had great orgies all over the place with young Brazilian women just like yourself. So please join us. Okay. So there you go. So thank you guys very much for those donos. Again, if anyone else would like to donate, you can click at that link at the top. You get to donate whatever you want and you get to write a little message. I'll bring it up. You're supporting our journalism when you do that, these kind of stories that we have today, or you can do it in the Cash App like my guy 7th Pounder did right now. He just sent, my Cash App is $, Uncle Turtle Boy sends $10 for Anna's real estate company needs to be investigated. Ooh, interesting. Okay. All right. So, anybody have any questions they want to talk about? Fire away. And we could talk about some of the stuff that's been going on, the extracurriculars on the on the YouTube community, drama, whatever. But I mean, this has been, ultimately that shit, none of that matters because what Turtle Boy is really all about is like the stories that you're reading right now. Like this is what matters. You know, this is what makes Turtle Boy is stories like this, not these losers on freaking Discord and whatever, you know, talking about nonsense. They don't matter. But okay. Give me 1 second. I'll read the comments in one moment. Again, you're going to want to tune in tomorrow night if you're into that stuff. We have a thing called Exposing Andrew Johnson tomorrow night. I was assaulted for the first time. I mean, I've been doing this for 8 or 9 years now. A lot of people say they're going to kick my ass. But finally, someone showed up and actually put hands on me in person. And I feel like I held my own in that. But it was still assault and battery. And I didn't back down from my duty and my mission, which was to report about the criminal proceedings of a very dangerous sociopath by the name of Catherine Peter outside of courthouse in Jamaica Plain or West Roxbury, whatever. But yeah, I forget where I was going with that. Okay. Let me read the questions. Oh, that was this, Alex. How you doing, Alex? That's everything I hope for. Welcome. You're very welcome, Alex. YouTube community. Exactly. Chrissy court update there. So all that happened in court today, I went there. She wasn't even there. And her new lawyer was there and he hadn't reviewed any of the discovery yet. And basically they moved it to February 28th. Okay. How do you feel about bribing your kids to do yard work with cigarettes? Yeah, that actually happened. Have you guys heard this audio? The Krusty Panties audio yet? Yikes. Let me bring this up. I thought like, okay. So don't be like this, Mom. Let me pull it up. And check this. Listen to this.
cigarettes. And I was like, here, kid, like, take my cigarettes. Like, at first she would steal them. I would punish her for stealing them. And then I decided that I didn't want the alternative happening. So I would leave them out. I knew she was stealing them. And then I said, well, I don't really want to teach her to fucking steal. So I would tell her, you have to, at first I attached a chore to it. And then I said, this point, like, ask me. And there are certain times that I'll say no, because I just know, like, when she wakes up in the morning and goes, can I have a cigarette before school? Like, no, you can't get into that habit, because this is a hard enough one to break. When you start fucking habitually smoking at certain times and getting into those rituals, it's even fucking harder. I know what's going to happen. Like I said, I know the kids smoke weed. Like, not a big fucking deal to me anymore.
Wait, what? So you bribe your kids to do chores with cigarettes, and you're on there talking about parenting. By the way, this whole thing about, like, why is he always talking about my kids? Why is that? You're talking about your kids. These are complete strangers. This is on Discord. There was like dozens of people. This is like a live stream. That's effectively what this is. Discord offers a live streaming service, and you can go on there and you could talk about whatever you want. And now she doesn't know any of these people in real life, because none of them are friends. None of them even live in the continent, most of these people. And she goes on there and she decides, I'm going to air my parenting advice, talk about my child, my apparently troubled child, with all of these, who's troubled because of my lack of parenting. And I'm going to talk about how I bribe her with cigarettes for some reason. Yikes. And then I let them smoke weed, because that's good. And what else did she say? What else did she say?
Anymore. I have harder lines, bigger issues. Last summer, I started to she had a boyfriend at the time. I let the boyfriend sleep over the house, and I provided them with condoms. Like, it was like, what's the alternative, really?
What's the alternative? Not allowing that, I think, is an alternative. I don't know. It's like, I understand this whole thing about we know teenagers are going to fuck. That doesn't mean you have to encourage it in your house. Like, go behind a dumpster, so I don't know. In your house, who lets kids fuck in their house? Your own daughter? Hey, you little young man, why don't you come over here and bang my daughter in the house? Here's a rubber. Knock yourself out, kids. Didn't that happen in? Didn't the cool mom do that in Mean Girls? Didn't she be like, oh, you kids, here's a condom? Oh. That was Regina George's mom did that, right? How about no boys allowed in the bedroom? Like, that doesn't seem that hard. And again, these are complete strangers that she's just airing this to. And then you got people like Merb. Why is he talking about her kids? Bitch, she's talking about her kids. What you want me to do? This is ratchet behavior.
Go out and do it anyway.
Like,
right.
This guy says it's normal.
Much more unsafe place, and I'm not that much older than her. I heard when I was 18. It's not like I don't understand this shit to a certain degree. You just they can hang out safely. I have rules that I feel like are pretty fucking. They're pretty lax. Like,
you think?
I know that they smoke pot, and I don't give them a hard time. I don't allow drinking or hard drugs.
Okay, no hard drugs.
I
no
will
coke.
call the police if I find. And they
no
know.
Coke, no coke,
Like,
no coke.
I feed them. I cook for them, and I feed them.
Wait, what was that part? Like, and they know it. Oh, she runs a tight ship, guys. There'll be no cocaine in this house. Pot, whatever. Free cigarettes if you do your yard work. Double, like a full pack. You get a carton if you mow the lawn, but. Like, what?
And I'll drive.
It's like she went out of her way to be like, oh, you guys think I'm a shitty mom? Watch this. Watch this. Now, she's claiming that I wiretapped her, which is just classic crusty panties about talk about misunderstanding how the law works. Like, how many times have they tried to get me on wiretapping now? Remember 2 years ago, they had the Taunton police investigate me for wiretapping because I was sitting backstage on a StreamYard and they forgot I was there and I recorded them. But they said, you're literally on a streaming platform and there's only 3 of you. There's like 40 here. And it's not a phone call. This isn't a phone call. This is a public broadcast. What are you talking about?
you know, that's like, I'm not sitting there fucking doing arts and crafts with them all the time. And like, you know, they deal with, you know, me screaming on the internet sometimes, or
that's normal. Yeah.
you know,
Or how about stop doing
I shouldn't
it?
even say that. Like, I don't. Andy is not a fucking batterer, like by any stretch of the imagination.
Listen to this.
He's definitely put hands on me once or twice in the last 10 years.
Is that not the greatest line of all time? Andy, the boyfriend, is definitely not a batterer, comma. He's definitely put hands once or twice on me. Okay, so he's a batterer. So how many mulligans do you got? How many times are you allowed to hit your girlfriend or wife or whatever? You're allowed to hit. How many times are you allowed to hit your girlfriend or wife or whatever, and like not be a batterer? Apparently, you got a couple mulligans there. Imagine saying that. And by the way, it's more than once or twice. Tune in tomorrow for exposing Andrew Johnson.
He's got fucking problems, but like we are. A lot less now that, like, you know, like in the thick of it last year when he's pulling these reports from, because like, not that it excuses the chaos.
So what she's doing right now is she's preempting exposing Andrew Johnson. She knows, she knows goddamn well that I am going to expose that. She knows everything I'm going to pull up tomorrow because she's lived through it all. And she didn't think I would ever get these police reports, but I did. And I am going to, and she is freaking out right now because she does not want these all to come out, but they're coming out. And so what she's trying to do now is damage control. And she's going to try to explain why actually it's really not a big deal. This happens to everyone. I mean, that's her whole tone in this conversation is just like, yeah, actually it happens to everyone.
It occurs in my house sometimes, but like my daughter was off the rails to the point to where, you know, she had run away from a group home and was gone for a week. She was sneaking out of her window all the time. We were finding drugs in her room. We were finding alcohol in her room. She was sneaking boys into the house. She was, maybe, you know, I would try to give her a drug test. And if she was already having an episode, it would turn violent. She's thrown urine on me before. It was like, we would argue about the way.
She's thrown urine on me before? Again, I'm not judging the daughter at all. But this sounds like, your house sounds like a zoo. Your house sounds like a freaking zoo, which again, everybody has problems, right? But you're sitting on, your house is a zoo because you're neglectful. You're sitting on YouTube. You have this daughter who clearly needs you and clearly needs attention. And what are you doing? You're on YouTube. You're on YouTube talking about chili and judging other people. I mean, that's the wildest part about this is your whole existence is to judge other people. And look at this. Yeah, Andy has assaulted me for worse. Like, what? She's like, oh, it's funny. Andy beats me up all the time. This guy I allow around my kids. He's not so bad, though. And then this guy, Jeff, says, well, I'm not going to say cool to that, but I get what you mean. What does she mean, Jeff? What does she mean? So you think it's, I get, oh yeah, just, I'm not going to say I condone domestic violence, but like, I get it. Like, I get it. Sometimes you just got to smack a hoe. I mean, that's what Jeff Loves Pigs here is saying, because Jeff supports the abuse of women. Now, Jeff, of course, would never use his last name because if he did, I would find out everything about him and I would report him to his employer and everything like that because Jeff is dangerous. Jeff should not be around women. Jeff thinks domestic violence is okay. It's just, I get what you mean. It's cool. And that's what all these people do. They're just anonymous cowards who are sitting here and she goes to them for like therapy or something. Like what?
Things should be handled because Andy for a long time felt like I wasn't, I wasn't strict enough with discipline. And if we just had stricter rules, then she would behave. And that's, you can't discipline away mental health issues. We'd argue about it a lot. Like, cause it was like, he came into my room early and was like, he scheduled a live about Andy. And I was like, yeah. I was like, so, like, who fucking cares? And she was like, this is all your fault. Like, they're going to pull that up. I'm going to look bad. He's going to look bad.
So this is interesting. She claims, I don't even know if I believe this, that the daughter sees that I'm going to do a show on Andrew Johnson and the incident involving him and her. And the daughter goes to her and says, "What are you doing? Can you stop?" And her response is, "No one's going to see it. There's 327 people here right now. Tomorrow there's going to be a lot more. I can guarantee you tomorrow's going to be a big show. It's going to be a lot of people here tomorrow night because people want to watch this piece of shit burn." And she basically tells her daughter, like a normal person, like Brett said, a normal mother taps the fuck out. You know? A normal person. Let me see if I got this one. A great quote.
No, it's just like I said, I'm enjoying the fuck out of this. And there'll be people tomorrow talking about how much of a scumbag I am from liking this. I don't like that her kid's a fucking mess. No. But you don't only need to look at Kate. Kate is the root cause of all of this. And someday karma comes for its payment. And she'll get it. And we will sit back and laugh because we still have a great show and you're sucking out of the dick. So fuck you, deadbeat.
Like, do you think she wants attention?
Or how about this one? This one's even better.
This is fucking up my kid. That's when an adult human being logs the fuck off. Yeah. Like that's the end of it. No, I'm hurting my fucking mental fucking midget child. I have to fucking stop this. Period. Even a dick like me would stop.
She's never stopped. But she doesn't hurt her kids though. She's never stopped a single thing that hurt her kids.
Yeah.
And as far as the whole we can't fucking talk about our kids bullshit, I never knew about our kids until she brought them up. And like the video you showed, you know, all that. Oh, why are they talking about me? Because you've been a focal point for this bitch's attention-starved fucking empty head, and you brought him into this.
He's not wrong about that. It's like, that was back when Brett was a real person and he was being honest. And it's really sad to actually see that now. But yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's like, if you see your kids are being affected by this, stop doing it. Stop going and picking fights with like mentally unbalanced people on the internet. I mean, you're saying a horrible example.
Everybody looked bad. I was like, it's like nobody watches it, Teresa.
Oh, just nobody watches it. Who cares? What?
I was like, just don't watch it and go to bed, right? And then this morning she woke up and was in a fucking panic, and she was like, "I told you something was gonna happen. Like he's gonna come fucking kidnap you. He won't leave me alone. Like I think this could."
And by the way, did you see this right here? Let's see in the corner there. She's telling them to call the Holden Police Department, Detective Todd Ventris, because wiretapping is illegal. It's not wiretapping. Like if somebody taped me right now here, that wouldn't be what you're not wiretapping me because there's no expectation of secrecy or privacy here. That is an essential element for wiretapping. Stupid. You also have no proof of what state I was in, or if I did it, I know you think you did because I got some tabs open up there, whatever. But you don't know what state I was in when and if I did it, which I'm not admitting to. And obviously, so I know Todd Ventris. I've had many conversations with him before, and we just had a good laugh about it. It's like, oh, this retard's up to it again. I'm like, I had to, because I wanted to apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. I moved to your town and all these assholes call all the time. He's like, we're used to it. Basically, they think it's funny at this point. So Kate apparently seems to think this is going somewhere, but I had a good laugh about it today. And not the way she thinks it's going.
The same thing she says, like usually like joking, but she was like upset. She's like, I think he wants to bang me. Like it's just fucking
what?
A lot of conjecture.
There's no way her daughter said that. No way her daughter said that.
It seems to be to just fucking, go at my fucking daughter.
And by the way, that whole thing, like, I think he wants to bang me. I guarantee she never said that. And which means she made it up. And like, you're making up things about me having sex with your daughter like that. Why would you talking about that? That's your kid. Why are you talking about that in a public airwave? That's insane. That's insane. Oh, she carries a heavy burden because of what she's lived through with you. You're the reason she has a heavy burden. The incident with Andy, he lost a tooth. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But she's blaming, and she pulled a knife on him. Wait till you see what actually happened. That's not what happened. She's blaming her daughter for the incident preemptively because she's going to, and calling her a liar.
Like, and you know, I like put out the report because
Oh,
like,
I'm going
doesn't
to.
look
I'm going to.
that bad in it.
No,
You
but
can
he
tell
does.
that she lied a couple times.
She lied.
Was upset, like, you know, and she wasn't arrested.
Is it a pleasant
I was considering yesterday, and I really should have followed through and just fucking didn't because I got lazy. But going down and just filing for criminal harassment, maybe I should just add this to that. Maybe that's probably to get like the full.
Yeah. Just go down and file for criminal harassment. By the way, they're also saying that I like contacted her daughter. I never did that. I said, and to be clear, if she is watching this, which I doubt she is, this is a safe space for you, dear. Okay. I've had children like 16-year-olds like you on here before who are the victims of abuse. You are a victim. Like, let's be very clear about that. And you're getting to the age now where you're almost an adult and you can be emancipated. You don't have to live like this. So if you'd like to come up here and speak your truth about what has happened to you, this is a safe space here. We don't judge you or anything like that. I understand your house is not a safe space. But what's happening right now to you is immoral, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Add this to that, you should at least get a report. You should at least get
there's
the
dump truck.
Maybe I should just go down and like report everything. Yeah. My advice would be report this separately, and then I would, if you go to the police and try to report criminal harassment and it's a long-term thing, likely they're going to tell you to go down to the courthouse. It was like there was nothing you could have done to avoid this. Aidan and his mistress are the ones that dragged you to court.
Wait, like this is what I mean by the echo chamber. They're telling her what she wants to hear. You did nothing wrong, Kate. There was nothing you could have done to avoid this. I could think of a couple things she couldn't have done. I could think of a couple things. Not release revenge porn, for one. Not go onto the Turtle Boy account and write a threat to yourself, not try to get a bullshit order on me in Attleboro District Court and fail miserably, not contact a suicide prevention nonprofit and try to cancel them for coming on my podcast and talking about mental health issues, particularly mine. Like, there's nothing she could have done. How about this one? Not stalked, threatened, and harassed a completely innocent woman who was a stranger to you for a period of 9 months and not posted naked pictures of her. You could have not done any of those things. And all of this would have been avoided. When you got the order, you could have stopped. Instead, you continued. But I mean, that was the funniest comment I heard from all this was.
My advice would be report this separately. And then I would, if you go to the police and try to report criminal harassment and it's a long-term thing, likely they're going to tell you to go down to the courthouse. It was like there was nothing you could have done to avoid this. Aidan
there was nothing you could have done to avoid this.
Aidan's mistress are the ones that dragged you to court. Aidan's and her ones fucking following you all the time and stuff like this.
You know what? Like Brett said, a loving parent logs the fuck off here and just stops doing it. But she knows in her heart of hearts that that's what's the best thing. But she also knows if she goes into her Discord, which she treats as therapy, she knows that they're going to tell her that you did nothing wrong, which is what she wants to hear. She wants to hear that. So she goes there and they tell her exactly what she wants to hear. It is impossible. She has created a literal cult where no dissent is allowed. No one criticizes her. When you do, you're out. We've seen a lot of that this week, actually, for something else.
This wasn't avoidable. It's just not. Nothing you do is going to stop him from doing this shit.
He's obsessed with you.
He's obsessed with you.
About this too, like they're convinced that like he's gonna like hurt me at some point or something because like.
Also, like let's not forget, Merb offered both of us a truce to stop. Like, we guys stop. I said yes. She said no. But I'm the one obsessed with her. What?
My dad follows the internet stuff. My mom really doesn't, but she hears it from my kids. And like my dad particularly is like, he can't let it go. My dad has questioned me so many times as to whether or not I've had sex with him. My dad too.
Oh my God.
Like, no, I haven't. Like, you. No.
My dad too. No, Shannon, your dad hates you. And literally, I think we all know no one would ever think that. Ever. Like, stop it, please. I think they know better than that. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? Oh, I got another dono here. I want to bring up real quick. Disgusting. Kate Peter. Oh, Kate Peter sends $10. Sweet. Says, look, it's not like I let my kids do meth outside the house. It's strictly on the basement after school and when we are out back. Oh, so it's not that bad. Okay, so when we're out back. So they just do meth. Honestly, I limit the kids to cigarettes because they keep stealing mine and I got to get my smoke. You get over this annoying headache child talking turtle shit gives me. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, that's the kid that she lets shoot BB guns in the basement too. Another normal thing. We'll get into more of that tomorrow. Anybody else have any more questions? Is she estranged from her dad? I'm not too sure. I haven't really gotten into it. Her family seems like a mess. Her parents are divorced. And I think the dad's an alcoholic. I'm not entirely sure. He was commenting on her Facebook page up until about 4 years ago. I saw the last comment. So I don't know what the relationship is. I won't pretend. But definitely seems like she's estranged from the brother. I mean, she's a sociopath, much like Brian Walshe is. No, don't worry about it, Scott Starbird. You guys don't know. You don't owe me an explanation. Don't worry. This is a free service that you're free to donate to, but you certainly don't have to. If anyone else wants to donate, though, you're welcome to. Uncle Turtle Boy on Cash App, or you can donate to Turtle Chat by clicking above on that link at the end. Ew. Blow Shauna. Question: is it true Krusty Panties was caught Googling how to abandon two of your kids without killing? No, she knew how to do that. I think I got a couple more screenshots here I want to bring up. Let's see if we've seen any of these. All right, what do we got here? So this says, oh yeah, we saw that one. What else we got here? She assaulted me for worse. And he's okay. And then how about this one? Don't talk about my kid. Who are we talking about? My kid. Okay. Well, Biff is a close friend. They go to school together. And this is how she has already attempted, guys, to explain away what you're going to see tomorrow. It's fine. She had a confrontation with her stepfather a couple of years ago, and she's worried about some of the details coming out because she kind of attacked him and told a silly lie to the police as part of the report that they noted wasn't consistent. These are the kind of things abusive parents say to explain away to keep the boyfriend in the house. Oh, she was just telling a silly lie. She started the whole thing. It's really all her fault. She had an episode. She wasn't arrested. He was. And at the time, she was having an episode and not really in control of herself. By the way, we're going to see that Kate is the reason that he was arrested. She made sure of it, and she got an order on him. As I recall, a lot of the details didn't make it into the report. Oh, they're in there because her stepfather didn't want to see her get arrested. That's not what happened because the stepfather and the daughter went to the police station at the same time. She's just young and doesn't want her business out there. Not much we can do now. I know one thing. You can tap the fuck out. And this isn't enough. Like, if you shut your stupid YouTube channel down, I stop tomorrow. No question asked. No question. But you ain't going to do that because you prioritize this bullshit over your kids. And of course, this is what, whoever the fuck this person is, a person she'll never see in real life who just tells her what she wants to hear, tells her Completely understand, Kate. I would never want to be a teen nowadays with cameras everywhere and social media. Some of the shit I did, she's young and hopefully will grow. Plus, she is your kid. She's wicked smart. You don't know her at all. You don't know this person. She just needs to be directed. And that's the parenting advice. This child has mental health issues. And you're just like, oh, things are fine. Blessings to you. You're doing great. She takes step forward every day. What? By the way, she's losing a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of comments like this from people. If you go on her most recent page, they are all turning on her because she went after this guy who I'd like to get on here sometime. Frauditors Exposed. His name is Mark. If he ever wants to come on here, he's welcome to. But, you know, all these people who donated to her, that she raised like 60 grand. What was that money for? Like, what did that money... First of all, we don't believe that you gave all that money to your lawyer. That does no way. That doesn't add up. But second of all, for what purpose? Like, what was the point of all that? Because you don't make anything anymore. You don't make content. You have nothing to, you don't even stream. You're that lazy that you don't even stream. What is the purpose of your existence? You know, all these people are like, what? So you can walk around Boston and talk about Turtle Boy? Yikes. Oh yeah. I watched the whole debate. We could talk about that a little bit. But then I'm on here and I'm just like, somebody asked, did you cry? I'm like, I wasn't arraigned. Why would I cry? And then she goes, this is what she writes. Do you have any comment about the judge warning you that if you follow me to your car again, that you'd be risking your own liberty? This is the fantasy world she lived in. At no point did the judge say anything like that to me, because that would be a First Amendment violation. You threw the entire case out the window and now are going to face consequences because you couldn't stop stalking me. No, I'm not. I mean, this whole thing with her, you're going to be charged with this. It's any day now. The storm is coming. They never noticed that I never get charged. They don't ever ask any questions about, like, how come he's not charged yet? Maybe I'm being lied to. Guys, if you're still following her and you're watching this, which she doesn't want you to, just understand that, like, you might pick up on this after a while. Like, she always says I'm going to be charged for something, and then I don't. That should probably be a red flag that I'm not actually doing anything illegal and I'm not who she's representing that I am. She is a pathological liar, and she's playing and scamming all of you idiots. So she thinks this case is getting thrown out against her. It's not at all. Stay tuned. Also, weird that being body blocked by a man larger than you causes you to tremble and run to the police. I guess you forgot my lawyer. An officer of the court was there for the entire thing, and that is back turned as seen on the video. And he attempted to remind you of the judge's order as well. The judge didn't order me to do shit. Oh, by the way, this is what she wrote about the meeting I had with Irish Demon, which was not broadcast on a social media platform, unlike hers. No expectation of privacy. Oh, okay. By the way, this is like, it says 1 month ago there. It's been almost 2 months now. When are we getting the recording of Irish Demon recording me? Is that coming out too? Where's that fat fuck? Is he around still? How's Pudgy doing? Irish Demon, where'd you go? Where'd my fat little play toy go? Where did he go? Oh, he got called. I challenged him with that. I said, you ain't got a recording. Oh, it's coming out any day now. We got the tape. Where'd it go? Do you think I'm going to forget about that, son? You fat piece of shit. You came here to bang 2 cheese hogs and lie. You coward. You Irish coward. How about this? I already got a reply from Holden PD. Sure you did. It's an all-party consent state. Oh, my God. If you see yourself in here, you were illegally reported to the Holden Police Department. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All this shit. But a lot of these people are on here. I'm like reading the comments. They're all turning on her. I'm sorry I missed this post. That was a waste. You are too far gone with the frauditor MERB stuff. I believed you when you said you only paid that bail money because you wanted to piss off Chili. I told you I am on disability due to a stroke. I live on $1,000 a month. And I took $50 out of my grocery money. to help you because I believed in you. This is who she's robbing, by the way. Stupid people living on disability who don't have anything. And she's accepting $50 from people like this, knowing that it's all a scam, knowing that ain't shit gonna happen, that she's gonna pocket that money. Those receipts that you guys saw, I guarantee they're not real. I guarantee it, she's not real. I have learned a lesson. You taught me that lesson. Thank you. Shysters and swindlers don't always act like chili. Sometimes they pretend to be nice sometimes too. God bless you. I feel bad for these people. They're stupid and they were taken advantage of. There's tons of comments like this from people, and she attempts to defend herself like this person. I've seen this person defending her hard. Randy Dandy. So why did you decide to be the moderator in that debate? It's disingenuous at best. We all love SC. I don't know what that means. Don't get me wrong, but this debate had nothing to do with that. It's odd that you would bring that up after the fact. You should have bowed out due to your inability to be unbiased. That was the Kate that I thought I was following. Yep. So, yeah, these people are starting to finally figure her out. Door off hinges. We'll get to that. This is the kind of lies. This is what Dump Truck says. What did Turtle Boy do? He contacted Kate's daughter. It's just a complete lie. It's just a complete lie. I've never had contact with this child. And by the way, this is what low life pieces of shit they are. Obviously, a longtime turtle rider, Brian Dowse, died almost 2 weeks ago. Brian was a great guy, really one of the OGs of the turtle rider world. And what do these motherfuckers say? This is what Dump Truck and Kate say. Wasn't Brian on your show calling Turtle Boy a cult? No, he was not. He hated Aidan, but Aidan's trying to get those sympathy points any way he can. I mean, this is what low lifes they are. Like, a guy I know dies. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to sit up here as like I'm like best friends with Brian or anything like that. I've met him a handful of times. We talked, for here and there. Nothing too serious or anything like that. But like, he dies and it's sad. And these pieces of shit, the first thing they're like, let's capitalize on this guy's death to make fun of Aidan. He hated you. Like, pieces of shit. What is wrong with you? Seriously. So, yeah, that was interesting. I did find one clip I'm going to use. Let's see. Is this the one? The Merb interview, by the way, was just gold with her. I went and rewatched that. I'm like, watch this one. How about this? Remember this one for tomorrow. It's point blank. Can you guys hear this? Could you guys hear that? Or was there no audio? Okay, give me one sec. I gotta unplug this part. I don't know why it does that with external videos. Let's play it again.
Her marriage situation. Okay, are you married?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Her marriage situation. Okay, are you married?
Yes.
Okay. Do you cohabitate with your husband?
I do.
Okay. And any follow-up on that? I don't know why that's is he okay? Is he okay?
So that's interesting. We're going to come back to that tomorrow when we read the police reports, which say otherwise. I clipped a couple more videos here. Should we play them real quick before we call it a night?
it's a double-edged sword there, as I'm sure you can surmise, but it's necessary because it's crowdfunded. But
So you spent about $30,000 on attorney's fees, which leaves about $20,000 still in your pocket, correct?
Well, I just continue to send the money over to the attorney is what I'm doing.
So as you get it, you send it to the attorney. You don't. So the attorney knows exactly how much to bill you.
I was interviewed by Merv. Did I ever go, stop asking me questions about the $60,000 I raised, Merv? What do you know? That's why I don't understand why Merv wants to be associated with. Like, Merv seems like he's a family law attorney. Like, I'm sure does fine for himself. Like, he carries himself well. Why would you want to be associated with somebody like this? I don't get that.
If he agreed to not make any further content about you, except for the results of the criminal proceedings that have been instituted against you, and in exchange, all he wants you to do is stop talking about him. What about that?
Okay, so let's do fair turn about them. So,
what? So no.
He wants to cover the criminal proceedings that have been instituted against me. Would it be productive for me to turn around and then start covering the criminal proceedings that are about to be instituted against him?
Wait, what? So this was like what, 2 months ago, this interview with Merv? What criminal proceedings against me, Kate? What criminal proceedings? I don't have any criminal proceedings. I don't know what you're talking about. And so, like, it was a really simple answer. Aidan says he'll end this right now. Do you accept? Her answer, no. She wanted this smoke.
Well, see, there haven't been criminal proceedings.
Well, he started covering before they were proceeded against me. So there's that.
No, there's that. Actually, I started covering your criminal proceedings the second that the Boston police filed a criminal complaint against you. That was the beginning of your criminal proceedings. There has been no criminal complaint filed against me by any sort of police department. That's not a thing. I don't even know what crime is in her mind. And probably wiretapping. It's always wiretapping with these people. But
there wasn't an agreement then. I'm trying to figure out if we can come to an agreement. And honestly, if you want to be like petty about it, like, we don't have to have an agreement. There's no reason to have an agreement if you're not going to abide by it and he's not going to abide by it. That's just a waste of everybody's time. But if you're willing to do it, like if you think this is not productive, if me talking about him and his extramarital affairs and him talking about what happened with my kids 8 years ago or more,
not years
if
ago.
that's not going to be productive, or I mean, nobody wants to see it.
I think that's where Merv, the disconnect is. He seems to think it was 8 years ago. No, it's like to this day, my dude. To this day.
Right. No,
it's
not my preferred content at this point. Like, I do genuinely, I mean, it gets boring. Do I like to see him get wound up sometimes? Like, I know right now he's probably hitting caps lock in chat. I haven't looked yet. I'll go back and look later. But like, does that amuse me, honestly? Yeah. Like, but it's not something that I have an overwhelming desire to make a ton of content anymore because it's boring. Obviously, Chili de Castro has been much more interesting and fun and where I like to keep my focus. I mean, the problem with me making these, it harkens back to sort of like the pasties thing. I'm not huge on making agreements that I don't think I can abide by.
Okay.
And take that as you will at face value. But I mean, if something else were to pop up and I would be like, oh yeah, no, Aidan's gonna I can milk him for some more amusement, in a week, in a month, in a year. Yeah, I'd probably do it. It's just honest. It's just
all right. Well,
so I think I got one. Oh, so what's this one? Somebody made one for me. Let me play this one.
But he sent it to someone and he said, these are Kate's sexy legs. And I didn't find out about it until like months later when they told, and I was like really creeped out.
Look at this shit right here. Okay. 2 flute glasses of milk. Thong flip-flops on. Feet look like turtle heads. Okay. It look like feet look like each of them look like a 5-headed turtle. All right, albino turtle. Look at the pothole in the thigh. Look, this shit is crazy right here. Okay, that looks like a 9mm shot. It's
okie dokie. All right, so apparently I want that one. I thought that one more thing I want to show you here. I think I posted this in the community tab, and I really want to know more about it. I'm really interested to learn more about this because I'm sure she's watching, and obviously she watches everything we do here. But I did want to. I posted this in the community tab, and I really just want to know. It says right here. This is from her channel, I believe. How do you show this? How do you like make this? How do you click on this? Anybody know? Am I having a boomer moment? It says right. Basically, she says that she has you have a surprise. I go. The judge did not order the media to refrain from asking you questions. That's a First Amendment violation. Your lawyer made an ass out of himself. The Boston police reviewed the tape, agreed that I was assaulted. He's out on bail for 2 other charges, including assaulting your daughter with a knife. I've got the court talks, and we're exposing them all Monday. And she says something to the extent of, we have big criminal charges. We have a big surprise for you on Monday. She always does this, like, oh, we have a big surprise for you on Monday. The criminal charges are coming. Well, it's Tuesday night. It's almost Wednesday. When is the surprise, Krusty Panties? When does the surprise get here? Because I was really counting on my surprise, and I don't see it. I don't see it. So I do have I got a Cash App here from 7 Pounder, says $10, and he goes, I hope this is enough for my eulogy when I die. Well, that's a downer. I don't think like that. We also got a $5 donation here from Kay. It says, what's the proper donation amount for a proper DT announcement? What's a DT announcement? Donald Trump announcement? They gave $5 to ask that question. But anyway. So yeah, you're still challenging Brett to an apple eating contest. That's nice. Have any law enforcement contacted you about what she's claiming? No. Again, I preemptively contacted Todd Ventures because I've talked to him a million times before. And he's just like, no. Remember, these are the same people that said I was going to get investigated for sending pictures of my kids in the bathtub and falsifying screenshots against Ryan Waters and wiretapping Big Black Jeffrey, and that I'm going to lose against Tony Branch. And I'm going to get sued by this person, and this person's going to kick my ass, and there'll be men at court, real men with testicles. Every single thing that they say is going to happen never happens. I don't know if her followers notice this, but literally everything that they tell you they're doing, they're not actually doing. There's no wiretapping charges. That's not a thing. She doesn't know the law. Maybe she does, but she doesn't know it. Stalking is a person doesn't know it's coming. You clearly are asking for a comment at a scheduled hearing. Exactly. I don't follow her around. We're at a public hearing. We're involving a criminal charge that is all stemming from your obsession with me. That's the reason you're being charged. You can click on the arrow on the right side. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. I'm learning it. Great Pill Podcast. Thank you, sir. Brett's real enemy is Court of the Cop. Brett's got a lot of enemies. Amanda, Red Meat, fucking Connie, and of course, the ultimate enemy, the final boss in Brett Brothers. Corn on the cob. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Have you heard what happened? Have you heard Kirk's podcast tweeted that Brian Walshe scheduled an appointment for an interior? Ooh, I have not seen that. Oh my God. Oh, that's great. No, I did not see that. That's crazy. Imagine the poor police officer knows nothing about this thing. No, they all know. They all know her by now. I know, that's the whole thing. She always is like, I'm a First Amendment person. It's like you are the exact opposite of that. You're going out of your way trying to stop the First Amendment. trying to stop people from covering your criminal proceedings, and you think it's okay. But all right, anybody else have any more questions? Should Kraft fire everyone on the Pats coaching staff? No, he shouldn't fire Bill yet. Bill should get another chance. But Bill needs to make changes. I mean, we're Pat. For years, we could do the whole Bill and Bill we trust thing. That's over. The grace period's over. We gave you 3 years to put a winner on the field. We've gotten mediocrity. We had a nice little thing last year. It looked like we were building on something. And what did you do in the offseason after that? You got complacent. You were like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, think about what we did. I mean, we had a really nice thing going last year. Mac looked good. And obviously, we're like, okay, well, we're going to lose McDaniels. So we need a plan. What's the plan? Oh, I know. We'll bring in this disgraced Lions coach who used to be our defensive coordinator, who has no experience or background whatsoever in running an offense, and we'll just put him in charge of the offense, and it won't stunt our quarterback's development at all. And by the way, the most exciting playmaker that you have in offense, Kendrick Bourne, we just won't use him ever, because we're mad at him for some reason. Who cares? But yeah, and the 2 tight ends we pay all this money to, we don't need to throw them the ball. Fuck it. We just won't run it all. Like, we'll just win fucking field position games. That's how we'll win. And then we'll get random punt returns like we did against the Jets, and we'll just win games. That's how we'll do it. Though it's over. The day of Bill Belichick getting the benefit of the doubt is officially over. As far as I'm concerned, he's on the hot seat a little bit. Because he's better than this. He's still a good coach. I mean, to get that Cam Newton team to 7 wins, that was impressive. To get to 10 wins last year, that was impressive. This was not impressive this year. This year sucked. We didn't beat a single team that we shouldn't have beat. The best team we beat the whole year was the Detroit Lions. That was our biggest win of the year. We smoked them too. But these other, this is not acceptable. This is not we demand more in New England than this bullshit. And so if Belichick doesn't have it in him to bring in an outside coordinator, Patricia hasn't been fired yet, has he? I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Mac Jones is the quarterback. Mac Jones is fine. Mac Jones is not the problem here. I like Mac Jones. His growth this year was stunted. You saw what he could do as a rookie. Mac Jones is not the problem. I don't know how anyone could think that. When he's given the chance to chuck it, he plays okay. He plays pretty well. And he's only a second-year quarterback. I think he played fine. You see what you get with Zach Wilson. He's better than Derek Carr. He's not as good as Kirk Cousins yet. But he has some nice passes here and there, man. And he looked good. He looked really good in that first half, especially against the Bills. But again, he's got no coordinator, and we need better. And that's ultimately on Bill, because he's in charge of hiring these people. And if he just wants to be surrounded by a bunch of yes men, ultimately that's his decision as the head coach. Picking your staff is part of the deal. So it is what it is. He's literally going to be Baker. No, he's not going to be Baker Mayfield. He's taller than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's short. Baker Mayfield doesn't have the arm strength that he has at all. Come on. He's not going to be Baker Mayfield. Zappy got zapped in that second half against the Bears. You saw what happened. He was too small. Who does John Jones' brother play for? The Raiders. He scored a touchdown on this, man. He sandwiched Mac Jones. Seems Chandler. Pasta, Bergie, Margie. Yeah, the Bruins are the greatest. What they're doing this year, dude, they're up by 10 points on the next closest team in hockey. It's insane. What are they, 31-4-4 or something like that? That's madness. Madness. Matt was fired as OC? I don't know. Any idea what's going on with Adam Jones? That he's leaving for WEI? I don't know. I can't stand Adam Jones. I fucking hate the sound of that guy's voice. Anybody else? You'll see. If he gets a real offensive coordinator next year, Mac will be fine. But you have to let him do his job, and that's be an NFL quarterback. Period. And he's got to throw to his best. Now, Nelson Aguilar sucks. I'm so done with Nelson Aguilar. Kendrick Bourne, I like. Tyquan Thornton, I like. Devontae Parker gets injured all the time, but he's probably our best receiver when he's healthy. I mean, Adam Jones just tries way too hard to be like, I'm so controversial. All you people, all you homers, you Belichick, get over it. It's like, dude, nobody hates you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm so indifferent to you. The only thing I hate about you is the fact that you think you're relevant enough for me to fucking hate you or have that strong of an opinion about you. You're not, you want to be Felger so fucking badly, and you're just not him. You sound like one of these Syracuse bros that went to like I bet you went to Syracuse. I'm guessing they all went to Syracuse. All these broadcasting bros. And you just have the voice. And I like to talk about sports. You can't be that controversial if you talk about sports. I'm sorry. Like, don't act like you don't talk about politics. So ultimately, there's only so much controversy you could bring to the table. Stop it. He loves to act like he's like so controversial. Yeah, they really could. I mean, WEI is just a joke. It's a complete joke. Forgot about Jacoby. Jacoby's fine. He can't be a number one, but he's like a good number three. I think I made that same analogy with the sausages. He always sounds like he's eating. Oh, dude, you could tell Fourier is just sitting there like, I want to smack this motherfucker. Oh, feel so bad for him. I don't mind Felger and Maz. I like Felger and Maz. Like, I wish they were New England. Like, for instance, I love sports talk radio that is authentic to the region. Like, you want to know a pet little thing of mine? I listen to these guys. Joe Benigno from New York. He retired. But I love listening to these guys rant. Check this out on New York sports talk radio, because these guys are such New Yorkers. And I wish we don't have that up here. All of our sports radio personalities, none of them are from here. None of them have Massachusetts accents. And it kind of sucks. Like, listen to this. This is good sports talk radio. Like, listen to these guys rant about the Jets because they're both Jets fans. Reaction to the Mets meltdown. Reaction to the Bills loss. Let me see. Reaction to the winless Bengals. Bro.
They made history yesterday, the Jets, as only they can. As they became the first team in the history of the NFL, now 100 years old. Just think about this. The first team in the history of the NFL to lose to two winless teams that's at minimum had started the year 0-7 or worse. And they have done it now twice. The Miami Dolphins, who were 0-7, the Cincinnati Bengals, who were 0-11, and they were dominated yesterday in this game like they were playing the Patriots. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Cincinnati dominated this football game. What does he do? Big third down play, drops the pass. They have to settle for a field goal. You should have known right then. But here's what I knew, bro. Here's what I knew the game was over. I knew it was. I wasn't quite sure yet, but I knew at this point.
When was this?
They're up 3-0. They get the ball back. They give it to our buddy Ty Montgomery. He rushes for 8 yards on first down. Okay, second and 2. How about running the ball again? This is the worst run defense in the league. They're giving up 170 yards.
First, I love I was wearing a Jets sweatshirt after the day after they lost to the winless Cincinnati Bengals. This is in 2019.
On the ground, the game. So what does the brilliant head coach do? Okay, the king of offense.
Adam Gase. They hate Adam Gase.
The guy that's basically invented offensive football.
They hate Adam Gase.
What does he do? 2nd and 2. No. We can't run. We can't. We don't. I don't run the ball. I throw it. Throws it to Montgomery. No gain. 3rd down, sack. Game was over. I knew right then they were not winning this football game. I should have shut the TV off right then. Well, I remember telling my.
It's such good content. Like I listen to this shit all. It's a secret thing. Every Monday morning, I whoever lost had the worst loss the day before, like the most unforgivable loss. I tune into their sports talk radio just to hear them bitch about their hometown team. I love it. Is that sadistic? I don't know. Like yesterday, I listened to Milwaukee sports talk radio just so I could hear people calling and bitch about the Packers. You gotta fire LaFleur, like all the people with their fucking accents up in Wisconsin. Yeah, they're eating cheese and complaining about that shit. But that guy's the best. Just always bitches about the Jets. He's retired now. We don't have anything like that in New England. We have Felger, who's from Wisconsin, and Maz, who sounds like he's from fucking, like he works for the Wizard of Oz or some shit. Sounds like one of the Lollipop Guild guys. And like name a person on Boston Sports Talk Radio that sounds like they're from Boston. You can't. And like he says, our candidate, like I didn't think WEI could get any worse. And now they got the Arcand and Mego show. I was completely wrong. Oh my God. It's so, bro, you don't even know. It's like they just want to suck. Like people want to hear that. People want to hear some masshole get up there with his accent and be like, fucking Belichick. Like just rant about how you're pissed off about this shit. You know, people like that. People like authenticity. You turn on Chicago Sports Talk Radio, it's a perpetual discussion about, doesn't matter the year. Who do we put? Hey, Doug, who are they going to play a quarterback this week? You got to put in the kid, Doug. You got to put in the kid. Do they play the wily veteran or do you put in the kid, Doug? Which one are we going to play? That's the perpetual sports talk radio conundrum in Chicago. And they all sound like they're from Chicago. All of them. I like that. We don't have that here. Yeah, Lou Merloni is probably the closest thing. I liked Lou. I didn't think there's anything. He was probably the only good thing they had there. I thought him and Fourier were fine. And they're like, well, this isn't good. We got to put Fourier with that fat Lardo Gresh. And they'll put this chick from Maryland named Mego and Christian Arcand, who's been around forever and can't seem to get a job. Yeah. Oh, I've never listened to Philly Sports Talk Radio. I bet you it's good. We have Al Morgan. I'm going to listen to that. Unfortunately, the Eagles are good. If the Eagles lose early in the playoffs, I will turn into Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio the next day just to hear people bitch about the Eagles and complain about Nick Sirianni. You just had this storybook fucking year. People will complain. It's going to be great. And they're not going to win. I know Super Bowl predictions right now. Okay. I did this with my kids today. My kids are so into fucking football. I love it. All right. I think it's going to be NFC. It's going to be this weekend's game. Niners are going to win. Vikings are going to win. Cowboys are going to win. Sorry, Tom Brady. Next week, I think the Niners are going to kill the Vikings. And then I think the Eagles are going to lose to the Cowboys. I always pick the Cowboys. I'm always wrong. I'll be wrong again. And then I think Niners are a wagon. I think Niners are going to the Super Bowl no matter fucking what. 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. They've won 10 in a row. They're the hottest team in the league. They're going to the Super Bowl. Unk do a 2024 top 12 winners of a calendar. Oh God, you wouldn't want to see that calendar. You know what? This was really close to my prediction, actually. So AFC, I like this weekend's games. The Bills are going to crush the Dolphins with or without Tua. The Bengals are going to murder the Ravens. And then that 4 or 5 games can be a real doozy. But I do think San Diego pulls out the Chargers. And that would leave us really, when you think about it, those were the 4 teams, the Chiefs, Chargers, Bills, Bengals. At the beginning of the season, everybody thought those were the 4 best teams in the AFC. And I think they're going to be the 4 last teams standing. The Chiefs are going to crush the Chargers, though. The Chargers cannot beat them. And man, I am so stuck on that Bills Bengals game because they both have so much to play for now. Like the Bills are like this team of destiny we keep hearing, whatever, for DeMar. I'm already sick of it. But the Joe Burrow they got fucked with that. They got fucked. And they're going to have to go on the road for no fucking reason. If they had won that game, which they were going to win that game, then the game would be in Cincinnati. And they're going to be pissed about that. But man, I've thought long and hard about who's going to win that game. And I want it to be the Bengals. I do. I think it's going to be a great fucking game. I think the Bills are going to win that game. Whoever wins that game is going to beat Kansas City. No doubt in my mind, especially now that it's neutral field. So I think we're looking at a Super Bowl of Bills, Niners, and man, that's a great Super Bowl. And the Bills are going to win that Super Bowl. That would be, by the way, 3 straight Super Bowl losses for the 49ers if that happens. And what do you do next year if they make the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy? Who plays quarterback for the 49ers next year? What do you do? They did crush him in week 3. That was a long time ago. Chargers playing a lot better now. Yeah, exactly. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Yeah. There isn't a single person out there right now who's like, man, I'm worried about them Vikings. Worried about them Vikings. Vikings might lose this weekend to the Giants. I don't think they will, but he did try, but who the fuck would buy that calendar? I like this pick, though. I think it's either going to be Bengals 49ers or Bills 49ers. That's my pick. All right, anybody else have any questions? Are the Cowboys the biggest choke artists in the playoffs? They're up there. Up there since 1995. Andy No needs to be in Ratchet Madness. He's just piece of shit, man. We could have like a Turtle Rider swimsuit edition if we want. That would be interesting. That's right. I did ban Felger from Worcester. He agreed. But then Wayne from Grafton called in and said he was allowed in Grafton. So there was that. I forget why I banned him, but he's not allowed here. Unrelated, but in your ideal world, how would you say shiz alternate? Dump truck. Okay. All right. Anybody else, guys, before we call tonight? You have fan submissions. Oh, do we have any more donos here? Hold on one sec. Oh, we have do we have one from 7 Pounder? Oh, no, you said the eulogy one. All right. Anybody else? All right, I guess we'll call it a night, guys. Thank you for everything, and we will see you guys all tomorrow night for Exposing Andrew Johnson. Peace, Turtle Riders.